And to talk now about the Obama administration's first 100 days, Tina Brown, editor of the feisty new website, The Daily Beast, and I love the title, and Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Thanks to both of you for coming. Let's just talk a little bit. You know a lot about torture. You heard what John McCain said. You heard what Pat Leahy said. Where do you think this is going, Bob?
Well, I think there's more to come out. I think it's got legs, and you know, we have a great tradition going back to the Pentagon Papers and the Nixon tapes and Iran-Contra of we air the dirty laundry, and I think it's necessary, and you know, no one in our business is ever going to sit around and say, let's keep the cap on the bottle. It's got to come out. You don't know where it goes. Now, from President Obama's point of view, he wants to look at this as history. He's got problems. I remember Gerald Ford, after he pardoned Nixon, I asked Ford, I said, you know, why did you really do this? And he gave a great answer, and he said, I wanted my own presidency, that the country needed to move on, and this was the only way to get it off the table.
You know, at the White House, they told me that there really was a debate. Some of the top people there did not want to release this stuff. They did have a debate about it. They are still not certain, if I understand their thinking, about whether these methods actually worked. One official said to me, it's really a jump ball as to whether any of this worked. You did a lot of investigating on this. Do you think these methods work, Bob?
Well, what they do is they elicit little pieces of the puzzle, and all good intelligence work is a mosaic, getting a little here, a little there. And it wasn't as if one of these people said, look, tomorrow at noon in Los Angeles is the next attack. They would give names and they would put things together, so there's not a kind of aha moment of we got, and we can give you the sentence or paragraph from somebody who was waterboarded or tortured.
Tina, congratulations to you on how well the website is doing. You're one of the great editors, as Bob is one of the great reporters of our time, first the New Yorker and then later Vanity Fair, and now editing this, as I said, very feisty website. But give us some perspective here on this first 100 days. 100 days is really an artificial kind of thing anyway, but this president came to office saying he's going to change things. You think he's changed anything yet?
I think he has immensely changed the tone, and I think that this is a president who in his first 100 days has shown that he understands imagery and the politics of gesture more really than any president since Reagan. Because I mean, when people criticized him, for instance, for going abroad and perhaps being apologetic about America, he understood that his first real sally into the world outside America was to show that he understood that America had things to atone for in the way the war happened and the way it went down and Abu Ghraib and all of those things. He needed to make it clean, to clean it up and say, we're different, we've turned a page. And he also needed to show that America isn't as arrogant after exporting all these toxic assets to the world, which we should not forget. The rest of the world is reeling from that sort of financial malfeasance of America. So he needed to do that. Doesn't mean to say he's going to keep doing that, but that first go-round he had to do it. And secondly, I really think one of the great surprises is what a force multiplier Michelle Obama has turned out to be, because these two are working in such sort of flawless concert. No sooner is the world all talking about torture in the Bush administration than we have Michelle with her vegetable garden. Talk about a springtime in America. There's a real sense that these two are operating in a kind of wonderful symbiosis that we really haven't seen, I don't think, ever really between a president and a first lady.
I would certainly agree with you on the tone. I think there is a different tone. That doesn't mean that this has suddenly become a non-partisan kind of place, because I mean, in some ways, I think the partisanship may be even stronger than what we have seen.
Yeah, it's worse. I mean, in fact, more Democrats like Bush at this point than Republicans like Obama. That divide is, in fact, worse than ever. But what I think Obama has been very smart to do is to reach out and make bipartisan gestures. I mean, Republicans have actually been at the White House more in the first few months of Obama's regime than they were in the entire 8 years of Bush. So he's reached out, and if they want to rebuff it, then they can rebuff it, and they don't look so great. You know, when they make a big storm about Chavez and handshakes, or a big storm about bowing to Abdullah, they simply look ridiculous. And, you know, in that sense, I think Obama once again scores.
Have they bitten off too much here?
Oh, well, they've somebody counted up there are 137 decisions or proposals that President Obama has made. That's a staggering number, but if you again try to look at it from their point of view, the people in the White House believe that they have restored the moral authority of the presidency. And you know, we will see. If you go back 8 years, remember when George W. Bush took over, the claim was we've restored the dignity and competence to the Oval Office, and history would question that. I think in all of this there is one significant accomplishment that Obama has really achieved, and that is the possibility of a Great Depression is kind of off the table. They've thrown trillions of dollars at the financial crisis, and at least there is a leveling off. Now, that's not a guarantee. There could be another jolt. There could be all kinds of things that could happen, but that's a real accomplishment for everyone.
And the one thing, he's done all this, we don't know if it's going to work.
We have no idea if it's going to work, and of course, in the end, that's going to be the judgment in Obama. Where I think he's been really great, though, I mean, Bob himself wrote the great book, The Agenda, about the early Clinton transition when they came in, and what a kind of chaotic sort of college dorm sort of feel there was to the kind of Democrats coming in. In that sense, you know, Obama has really benefited from those same Clinton heads in a way that were the sort of youngsters at the time when Bob was writing about it. And, you know, with Larry Summers, with Hillary, with Rahm Emanuel, they've all kind of come in bringing with it some of their knowledge that they had before, which helps him, the young new president, wed his new ideas to theirs. So.
And the big decision is doubling down in Afghanistan, doubling the number of troops there. The last president to do that was President Bush Sr. Before the Gulf War. And essentially Obama said, we're going to go on the offense on this, and we're going to have to see in 6 months or a year whether it works.
I want to thank both of you for being with us this morning.